Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel and welcome to Stretch the Sketch. And today I am using a sketch from Lisa Hiddy. And I like the sketch. It's pretty simple, pretty easy to stretch large or make small. Sometimes we use really difficult ones, sometimes we use small, easy ones. So today's was pretty easy. And I printed out this pizza board with a pizza on it. I got that from creativefabrica.com. And I will put links to their site down below. I do have an affiliate link if you're interested in purchasing a subscription, or if you're interested in just getting some illustrations. This is a watercolor illustration of pizza. It also came with all of those veggies and such that are up at the top of my screen there. It came with several different things in the set, and it was relatively inexpensive. So a lot of fun things that you can print and cut on their site, as well as fonts. So I will leave links to those down below for you. And that pizza board is kind of taking that center area, the pink that is behind the photos in that center area of the sketch. And then I went over to my silhouette and I used this paper from Vicki Boutin. It's one of her mixed media papers that comes in a set of mixed media papers. I didn't do the mixed media, it's already pre-done, and it's not from a particular collection, it's just one of her mixed media pads. And so I cut out the song lyrics, when you're when the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's amore. And so I thought that was perfect for these photos that were taken over several different pizza making parties at Noah's house. So they like to do that, and so I've got photos of him with his dad, photos of him with his mom, and photos of him and my son, which is his uncle. And we were there for one of the occasions, but I didn't have photos of myself with him, but that's okay. I just wanted to document the fact that they really enjoy like these pizza parties and making their own pizza at home, and he gets to participate in it and kind of pick what he wants to put on his own pizza. And that mixed media paper kind of reminded me of pizza, so I thought it was the perfect thing to use. And when it's all said and done, I know that the title is a little bit hard to read on screen, but in person it's not. So you'll have to just trust me on that, but it's not hard to read otherwise. So I am just trimming that paper down so I have two strips that are the same width. I didn't really measure the width, I just kind of went with the widest area that I could get, and have it long enough so it sticks out, and that's taking up the darker pink, or darker, it's kind of a reddish pink on the sketch, and I'm carrying it across both pages. Now when I printed out the pizza, I printed it on two papers so that I could make it as large as I wanted. And you saw me kind of measuring there where the pizza would join up. So I cut it a little bit larger than what I needed, a little bit of excess on, so that when I put it together, I knew I was going to have to trim a little bit off to make the pizza match up with the other side perfectly, so that it's nice and round. And now I am going to go ahead and just create a little bit of a border detail. I'm using my large scallop punch, and that is from X-Cut. I am going to put that underneath that strip that goes straight across, just to give a little bit of more added detail. And I am doing something different that I don't usually do. I'm using cardstock as my background. That is something that I very rarely ever do. But I got this cardstock, I think it was in some paper that I picked up at the retreat that I went to with MK, and it might have been something that she had set aside, I'm not sure. But it was like a freebie, and it came with a bunch of other papers, and this just happened to be in there. And initially I thought it was black, but it's dark brown. And so it works perfect because the little burnt-ish edges of the crust there are that same color. And so I went ahead and decided, you know what, I'm going to go with cardstock. It's not something that I do very often, if ever. I use black and white cardstock and not much else, but I thought it worked well for this. And plus there's going to be a lot going on top of the layout with all of these pizza toppings, so it works out well. I'm just using my T-square ruler to line up my my piece of paper there to make sure it's straight, and then I'm using an 18-inch ruler to carry it across the page. I do like having an 18-inch ruler on hand because it also allows me to very easily cut diagonal on my papers. When you go diagonal corner to corner, a 12-inch ruler is not long enough, so that is very helpful. And so I do recommend having one. It's pretty easy to, put in your kit. It is a little bit long, but it works. And then I'm kind of just staggering the way that these photos go just to add a little bit of movement. And I like the way that that they've got that kind of bouncing feel to them. Now, the font that I used on my silhouette, I also got from Creative Fabrica. It is called Oregano. It's not oregano. It's like oregano, but with an I instead of the E. Or oregano. I don't know. Maybe it's still pronounced oregano. But it was definitely a pizza-looking font. Like the Z's in the pizza looked very much like a pizza parlor would have. And so I thought that worked out really well. And I just went ahead and cut it on my silhouette, and I cut a background out of the yellow. I did ink up the letters with black around the outside, so it does show up much better in person than it does on screen. Now, the pizza cutter and the pizza wheel and the rolling pin and the cheese shaker, those were all in the same set of watercolor pizza bundle. And like I said, I'll have the links to actually both the font and that watercolor set down below. And I just printed everything out with the toppings and everything on my Canon Pro 100. You could actually print it on anything. I took all of the elements, I brought them into PowerPoint. You could use whatever kind of software that you are comfortable using, resized them to be the size that I wanted, and printed all of those elements on 2 sheets of paper. And they are printed on Neenah Solar White cardstock. I think it's Solar White, or maybe it's Classic Crest. I'm not sure. Maybe that's the same thing. I can link that down below as well. But it is Neenah paper, and it's cardstock, so it's not on regular printer paper. And then I'm just going to make sure all of my photos are nice and secure and get those where I want them. I kind of pulled the photos down a little bit on the left-hand page so that I had room for the title, because the title on the left side is much longer than the title on the right side. And so I decided to go ahead and just pull everything down so that pizza pie would line up straight across. And then I'm just going to use my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive to go ahead and adhere all of that down. It dries clear and it dries quickly, so and it also dries matte, so it doesn't leave any sheen if anything is like any of the glue is sticking out from underneath the letters. So I really like this glue. I've been using it for quite some time, and I say this in a lot of my videos that it's like my go-to glue other than my ATG. And once I get all of that glued down, I will go ahead and work on my little embellishment areas. I do use my acrylic block to kind of hold things down while the glue just kind of sets up for just a few seconds, and I can keep moving on to other things. And while I go ahead and work on these little embellishment clusters, I am just going to remind you that this is Stretch to Sketch. Happens the third Sunday of every month. There is a list of people playing along each month in the description box, so go down and check out how they took this sketch and stretched it or shrunk it for their purposes. Lots of good inspiration on how to use sketches in different ways, so hopefully you will enjoy those videos as well. So my embellishment clusters, I kind of try to start out with the largest piece, which ended up being that tomato and the little leaf cluster, and I tucked the leaves underneath the tomato. The bell pepper, I cut the centers out of the bell peppers, so it's just a bell pepper ring, and so it allows me to kind of pile some stuff up inside the bell pepper. You can still see plenty of the ring, and you can tell that it's a bell pepper, but I wanted it to definitely have it's a little pile of veggies there. And same with that onion that I'm tucking in. The olives, I cut those out as well. The centers, I did use a pen blade to go ahead and cut that out, or an X-Acto knife, whatever your favorite tool would be. And I didn't make you through make you watch me cut all of those things out because it took me quite some time, and I just did it in front of the TV while I was watching a show with my husband. So I'm also trying to make it so it looks like it's like not exactly perfect, but not a big mess. So some of the pieces, you kind of tuck in on their sides or at different angles. I am also popping some of the things up onto some foam tape just to give some added dimension. And again, here I'm starting with the tomato and the bell pepper this time. Oh, actually, nope. I went back to the leafy cluster, and that is for like a margarita pizza. And the interesting thing is, in this particular set that you can print out, the pizza board is one item and the pizza is a second item, and I just layered them up on top of each other in my PowerPoint software so that it printed as one piece. You could have printed it as two pieces, but you had the option of what kind of pizza you wanted to work with. You could do this one that has pepperoni and olives, or you could do there was a margarita pizza, a veggie pizza, and I think one other. So I think it was Hawaiian. So you had several choices. It also had like a pizza slice inside of a box that you could use. It was like a large pizza box with one slice left over in it. Lots of different things. There was like an olive oil decanter that you could use as well. So I just kind of picked the ones that I wanted to use, and I really like the way that it came out. It added lots of cool things, and actually some of those, like the mushrooms, almost look real. It came with a couple of different slices of mushrooms, a couple of different slices of olives from different angles, and same with the bell pepper. You didn't have to just have rings. There were slices, and there was meat slices. Just lots of different things to make it look more realistic. But they are obviously not real. They're just watercolor. And I really just like the effect that it had. It looks really cool. So again, links for all of that are going to be down below. And then I went ahead and inked up all of the edges in black, because this paper must have been from a paper pad, because it had the little perforated edge left on it, and it was white. So I kind of trimmed that down a little bit, and then I just added black ink on the edge because I didn't want the white showing. I'm just going to add a few last pieces here, and then we've got the close-ups. So I hope that you have enjoyed this video, and you can leave me a thumbs up down below if you did. If you have any questions or comments, please leave those down below as well. I will get back to you as quickly as possible. I don't always answer every day, so don't worry, I will get back to you. It just may not be in the next day or so. Hope you enjoyed this. I will see you guys again next time. Bye-bye.